Hello guys, welcome to my next tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be covering dummies. All about the steering wheel dummies, any sort of dummies you might need. Now if you haven't seen the last tutorial, I advise watching it because I covered how to import, export stuff 3ds Max, basic object changes. So if you haven't seen that, be sure to watch that so if you're confused. But let's jump right into it. So let's go get a steering wheel from the A86 tuned. It's probably one of the most simple steering wheel changes because everything should line up. So if we zoom in, we look, the steering wheel, you'll notice these two things here. These are called dummies. So if we hide, unselect, and look, this is a dummy. It's like a little square box that kind of like groups objects together. It can hold animations, all kinds of good stuff like that. So if we go back and look, when we move steering wheels or anything that's dummies, you want to make sure to select the dummies also. Then you can hide selection. So if we go delete everything, unhide all, and look, no overlapping. So when we get rid of the old steering wheel, it's important that we delete the dummies also. And look, the new steering wheel lines up perfectly. But let's say it wasn't lined up. Let's say it was a little off like this. So normally you'd probably go and select all the objects on the wheel and you just move it like this. But there's a problem. So if we go hide unselected and look, when we rotate the dummy, which is what like holds the animation stuff, the steering wheel's upside down. I mean, that's a wacky steering wheel. That ain't gonna work. So let's move it back in place where it's centered again. When we move any kind of objects that have dummies, you have to make sure to highlight the dummies at all times. Anytime rotation, movement, anything, you always select the dummies. So now we can move in place, make it look nice. Oh, look at that, lined up perfectly. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Let's sort it out. So you got your steering wheel in. Looks nice and stuff. Like I say, just any steering wheel in any other car model or whatever. But that's your steering wheel. Let's say you want the seatbelt. So what we'll do is hide selection, file, import. Oh gosh, I gotta find the car. I have to go in cars. There we go. Make sure the scale's correct. Look at that. Remember we imported seats last time. I said, oh, we can't do seatbelts. But now we can. So notice all these dummies here. They look a little crazy, whatever, but don't worry. We can do it. So you want to select the cincher off and on. That's like what controls which seatbelt is being selected. So if we select child nodes, that should be all the seatbelt. Hide selection, yep, that's all the seatbelt. So we can delete this, unhide all. If we look, there we go. Now if we look, this is the old seatbelt. So we can go select child nodes. Same thing with this. Select child nodes. We can delete these because we don't need those anymore. We got this. Now, if you look, we have to align these because these aren't aligned correctly. So if we go, select these, select child nodes. Like I said, always select the dummies. That's very important. Move these around, move these up, make these look nice. Yeah, look at that. That looks nice. It's a little off in the back. If we move these up a little bit. Yeah, it looks fine. Like I said, it's your first mod. You'll get better at it. Keep watching tutorials. We'll teach you how to fix little things like that. But yeah, that's pretty much a line. So there you go. We got the seat belts and we got the cool steering wheel in. Now, rims. Rims can be a little bit tricky, but I'll show you how to do rims. We hide selection. Find a car we want to take rims from. I'd say we take it from, never look really cool on here. How about some BBS rims? Maybe some BBS rims or something like that. If we open this car here, the Gunpack came 5. Cancel. File. Import. We gotta look for the car. Unpacked. There you go, car is there. So now, like I said, wheels also have dummies, of course. So what we want to do is we want to go select all the wheels here. Right click, select child nodes. That should select all wheels. Hide selection. We can delete this. We got to hide all. And we got to find the old rims. Select child nodes. Yeah, that's the old rims right there. See, the old rims are a little bit closer in, so we can go. Select child nodes. Yeah, that should be all the old rims. We can delete these. Now we got these rims here. So what we want to do is we want to go select all the rims again. And look how they're aligned. Move them out of the way. So they have to come closer together first of all, which could be a little bit tricky, but I'll show you how to do it. So this, we'll select one half. We'll move in a little bit. And just gauge the distance for now. We'll make it look nicer in a second. Patience is the key here. We're gonna move it down. Still not aligned quite right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go here. Select child nodes on the front. Same thing here. Select child nodes. We're gonna move this up to right here. Select child nodes. Yeah, it actually looks aligned. So now we have to align left and right. Look here. It actually looks fine, honestly. Like a little camera. Let's say that it wasn't aligned right. So we'd select the child node on the left side. We'd move in until we're satisfied. So let's move in like right about there. Yeah, it looks good. We'll do the same thing on the other side. And we'll move it in here. Make sure it's aligned good. So it's looking. You just kind of gauge it. Like I said, this is just the wheel dummies will look different because they'll base it off your suspension I&I. So whatever you do here is just for the preview. So it doesn't matter if it's a little tiny bit off, honestly. Because the suspension I&I will align the wheel based on what you set in there. Okay, so that looks good. That looks good. These wheels are kind of big for the car, but either way, they work. Now, let's say this looks nice and all, but let's say let's go ahead and delete all these now. And let's just say that you want to just put the rims on. So I'm going to import these. I'm going to steal the wheels back that we originally had. Hide selection. Unhide all. Okay, let's say you like the original wheels and you just want the rims. That's it. So what we'll do is we're going to hide selection. This is where it gets a little more tricky, and it comes down patience and time. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the rims, and you'll see a dummy for rim blur and regular rim. Now, blurred rims are helpful, whatever, they look a little nicer, but in my opinion, I don't see much of a point, so I never really do blurred rims, which that might sound bad or whatever, but I just don't see much of a point. So for now, we're just going to locate down to the rims. We're going to go through, first we're going to delete these blurred rims. Then we're going to select these three parts. See how they're in a dummy rim? You don't need the dummy. I would highly suggest you don't take the dummy because it can mess things up when you're scaling and stuff. So we're going to hide this, and it looks like we still got this BBS black, which is the opposite side, so we're going to hide selection. Here we go, delete, unhide all. There you go, we got the rim right there. So we're going to move out here. Next, we're going to go and we're going to delete the rims on here. Now what we have to do is we have to align it. So we're going to move in here first. Well, I usually like this. I like to use the align tool because it does a pretty good job aligning the X or the Y and Z. You'll have to usually go around, play around with the X and to scale it and all that fun stuff. But we're gonna make it smaller first of all. We're gonna rotate it. See how there's a little bit of camber? We have to fix that now to make it, nice. Blah blah. Still a little small. Okay, it looks like the X is set pretty good. We just have to now stretch out with the Y and Z. That looks pretty good. So what we do now is we'll rotate it. We look, gotta try to make it look as nice as possible, lined as possible. If you want to, what I'd suggest is select all the rim parts and then the tire, hide unselected, and just look at it. Just kind of look at it. Try and make it as close as possible so it, doesn't look messed up, blah, blah. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. BBS rims on an 8.6. That's something else every day. But now what you want to do is you want to take this. You want to move it to the wheel dummy. So wheel, that is right front. So we're going to drop it in here. And when it's in just like that, that's fine. It's perfectly fine. What we'll do is we'll clone it. You can name it blah blah, I don't see a point. So we're just going to clone it. We're going to move it outside the dummy. And then we're going to hit the align tool. Actually, first thing I'm going to do is, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. We're going to go and delete these rims. We could do go ahead and do this for all the other wheels while we're at it. So select channel nodes, delete. Select channel nodes, delete. And finally, select channel nodes, delete. So there you go, we're good in that aspect. So we'll go take these, align. It should be almost perfectly aligned. Yeah, look at that, look at that. We don't even have to touch anything. So we'll go ahead and we'll move it. Wheel right rear. We'll go clone. Oops. I clone this, move outside. Now from when you switch from right, left to right, it doesn't matter. You have to it's a little tricky, you can't just align. You have to take out here. Then you want to rotate 180 degrees. And I suggest manually doing because sometimes you do it here, it can mess up. Yeah, excuse me. So what we'll do is we'll rotate 180 close as possible. 180.99. That's close enough. We'll just hit align. Look at that, look at that. Almost perfect. We'll go here. Wheel left rear. Clone. Move out here. Align. Now all we have to do is move back left front. And look at that, you got rims on your car now. How sick is that? Now this also works for steering wheel. If you want to put a new steering wheel on, make sure if the steering wheel doesn't have a dummy, what you can do is you can align it to this steering wheel, make it perfectly centered, then just delete the steering wheel and put the objects into the dummy. Works for pretty much anything, but that's basics of dummies in general. Now something else I want to tell you real quick. If we did the first method where we kept the original Next 32 tires on it, we'll run into an issue where when we load into game, the car tires will be like in the ground a little bit because the tires.ini size was a little different. So I'm gonna show you the first little bit of basic data real quick on how to fix it if your cars are kind of floating in the air. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this real quick. I'm going to put the next R32 tires back on it. And then I'll show you what to do if your tires are too big. Actually, what I can do is I can make a copy of Nexus R32 and just put the 86 tires. I'll show you how to make the tires correct. So be right back. Okay, back guys. So if we look here, you'll notice the tire looks flat, doesn't it? No, it's not flat. The tire is just in the ground some because the tire dimensions aren't correct, which is what would have happened to the 86 if we just took the original tires. So, anytime you do a tire swap, you have to align the tires. So if we look here in tires.ini, you'll notice there's three values you want to keep an eye on. So width, radius, and rim radius. So obviously these numbers change depending on the tire size. Blah blah blah. So this is the so right now we have the 86 tire values on here. So what we need to do is we need to go and find Nexus R32. We have to unpack the data, of course, like I showed you in a previous tutorial. We have to go in tires, and we have to steal these three numbers. This goes for any other tires you steal from another car, or if it's your own tires, however, which I highly recommend not doing that unless you really want to. you have to go manually change these numbers. So what we'll do is we'll paste it in the front here. Then we'll go the rear here. We'll copy these. That's all we need. We'll paste them in the rear here. And these only have semi-slicks, but if these have multiple tires, you'll have to do it for all of them. So if there's like straight street 90s, you'll also have to do it for those. So we'll do is we'll save this. And if we exit the game, we try again, the tires should be aligned correctly now. And would you look at that? Look at that, tires are aligned now. We don't have any more flat tires, which is always nice. But there you go. So that's basics of dummies. That's how to swap rims, tires, steering wheel, anything like that. In future tutorials, I may do rim blur for all you people who want to see it or blah blah blah. I'll do other things too, like maybe creating dummies if you don't want to take existing ones. But for now, you know enough where you can do rim swap, steering wheel swap, any kind of dummy swap. Next tutorial, I'll cover changing body parts and making AOs, which will be very fun. So thanks for watching. Drop a like if this helped you. Tell me what your project is if you need help. I'm happy to answer in the comment section. Anyway, see you guys.